Welcome to Possibility of Precipitation 2, the game where you get items, kill monsters, fight bosses, die, and tell yourself the next game would definitely be your last one. One more time. Next thing you know, it has been 6 hours and your alarm is going off.
Boy, wake up!
So, this game was put into early access on the 28th of March 2019 and has been fully released in 2020 August 11th. So it isn't exactly a new game, but I'm actually still making this video for 2 reasons. Number 1, the dev has continued to develop the game, expanding and adding more content far after its release date. 2, there's a DLC coming out in March, and I just want to rave about Risk Rain 2, cause hi! So you might have guessed from the name, Risk Rain 2 is actually a sequel. Kind of a well duh moment, isn't it? Risk Rain 1 is a 2D survival game with the same similar core. However, as I said, it's 2D, and the extra D makes a huge difference. Just like with your waifus. In Risk Rain 1, things were mostly melee. Melee. So you spend most of the time just kiting away from them. In RR 2, even with the same kind of enemies, they got a ranged attack, so you need to dodge as well as kite. This gives RR 2 a different kind of challenge and its own special appeal. For the core gameplay, you pick one of 11, soon to be 13, survivors that have crashed into an uncharted and hostile world of Petrichor 5, and need to fight your way through endless varying monsters, from basic Lamarins to the overloaded magma snake. You know, just cause having only a lava variation wasn't bad enough. This one needs to have lightning, 5 times more damage, and 5 times more health as well. As for the survivors, here's a totally unbiased quickfire of each one. Basic bitch! Katniss Everdeen. Revolver Chad. Pioneer Revolvers brrrr. Lazy shits with turrets. Doesn't touch grass. Weeby Wristbreaker. Vampiric Blood Machine. Poison Papa. M1, Shiv, M1. Keep dreaming. Heretic is actually a secret character that you can't pick from the beginning of the game. You gotta actually slowly become Heretic during your runs. In fact, I think I've only gotten Heretic like 2 or 3 times in all the hours I've played this game. So, each character has 4 abilities, and you can unlock alternate versions of these abilities as well. One example is for Mercenary Special. First, there is Eviscerate, which lets you go invincible and strike your enemies over and over again. Or you can unlock the alternate version, Slicing Winch, which lets you launch a ranged version of the attack, like some kind of weeby-ass thing. Oh, and the way you unlock this ability was such a pain. You gotta complete a Prismatic Trial without going below 100% HP. And the seed changes every 3 days. It took me so much time to complete it, and I think I lost part of my sanity repeating attempts over and over. But hey, at least I have it now. Oh, right, another thing that baffles me is the fact that I unlocked this first, arguably the hardest challenge in the game right now, before the simple task of just chasing monsters off a cliff. Like, how? So yeah, items. Risk Rain 2 has a lot of items, like the crowbar, and you want to bonk your enemies a little harder, but only when they have more than 90% HP, for some odd reason or another. It's great for one-shots and a little bit more extra damage. And if you want to attack fast, we got Soldier Syringe, liquid coke laced with extra sugar, stabbed right into your veins. Okay. And for moving fast, we got a Goat's Leg. Don't question it, it's really better that way. Some of the challenges to unlock these items are actually really fun. Like Kaijuro's and Runan's Band, where you need to open a secret chamber in one of the levels, and then you kill a pair of married elder Lumerians and steal their wedding rings, which you then get to use as items, which further increase your DPS. Isn't this just the best? Now, not all items are as common or as useful as each other. There are different tiers. White being common, green being uncommon, and reds being
Legendary.
Cause of course they are. The red items are also really cool. There's like the Happiest Mask. It gives a chance of spawning a ghost that help fight for you, or Dio's best friend. It revives you once upon death. Now the devs also added a 3D printer, which also lets you duplicate items for extra stacks, at the cost of an item of the same rarity. And in the patch a little bit down, they added a scrapper, which lets you, scrap items of your choice. And the scraps will then be prioritized in 3D items and similar things. Now this just makes perfect sense. You can either pray to gacha gods that something you actually want isn't taken away from you, or I can sacrifice some existing power for greater control. Now, I didn't want to make a whole section for it, so I'm just going to briefly talk about artifacts. They are like modifiers to change up how your game plays. There's the Artifact Swarms, which just doubles all spawns. Artifact Command, which gives you full control of all your items. The Artifact Vengeance, which spawns a copy of itself that hunts you every 10 minutes. And the way you get these artifacts are like find codes just scattered throughout the maps and key into the machine every 5th stage. Or if you're very lazy like me, you can just get the codes off the wiki. Nobody will know.
How would they know?
One other thing that Hoppo greatly improved upon is the multiplayer. It was way too complex in the original game. Okay, just imagine being in your early teens and trying to figure out what port forwarding even is. Like, you don't even know the difference between TP and IP. How the hell are you gonna figure it out? And afterwards, you still need to explain the entire process to your friends as well. In Risk Rain 2, it's just a click away. Make a lobby and you can play with your friends. Thank you, Hoppo Games. So, final things I just want to add, but I couldn't really find the space to say. I love how the game difficulties are just rain puns. Drizzle being easy, Rainstorm for medium, and Monsoon for hard. I like the name of the scaling difficulties, starting from basic, easy, mediums, hard, to fun stuff like I see you, and there's a never-ending ha 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 when it reaches the final difficulty. I love the lore of the world, and how it's scattered in just logbooks. And the developers have clearly put quite a lot of time and effort into something that generally won't be read by most players. And lastly, Hoppo Games themselves. A small indie dev team that clearly love the game and the community that are surrounding it. Really, much love to the devs. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say. Check the game out, and oh yeah, here's a fun clip from my stream. It just kind of sums up my entire experience with the game. Oh, and just check my stream out. The essence, the 4 items that replaces your abilities, the heresy oh my fucking god. Skills have no cooldown. Okay, I am continuing the run.
A few moments later.
Is it dead? Nope. Is it dead? He asked. Wait, no! I died! No!
That's way too Chinese. That's racist. You gotta say something like, "Thank you for calling AD&D."
How is that any better? Can I ask?